Okay, let's be honest. When you hear the word debt, what's the first feeling that pops into your head? For most of us, it's not great. It's that little knot of anxiety, right? The phone calls, the feeling that your salary is gone the second it hits your account. We've all been taught that debt is the enemy. But what if I told you that's only half the story? What if debt could actually be a tool to make you rich? Let's get into it.
See, here's a secret that the wealthy have understood for generations. Debt itself isn't good or bad, it's just a tool. And while most people are using that tool to dig themselves deeper into a financial hole, the rich are using that exact same tool to build skyscrapers of wealth. The secret isn't about avoiding debt, it's about understanding which kind to run toward.
So this is the main event for today. Think of it like a superhero movie. On one side, you have the villain, bad debt, the one that quietly steals your dreams and makes you poorer. And on the other, you have the hero, good debt, the powerful ally that can literally build your empire and make you richer. We're going to unmask both of them.
First, let's dive into the dark side. We have to confront the enemy head-on, right? This is the trap of bad debt. It's the kind of debt most of us are way too familiar with, the one that causes those sleepless nights. It's time to shine a big, bright light on this villain and see exactly how it works.
So, what is it really? Well, put simply, bad debt is when you borrow money to buy stuff that either loses value, we're talking cars, electronics, fancy clothes, or things that are just gone, like a vacation. You're basically paying today's money plus future interest for something that's going to be worth less or even completely worthless down the line. It's a losing game from the start.
So why on earth do we fall for it? It's simple psychology, really. Companies are absolute masters at exploiting something in our brains called present bias. See, our brains are hardwired to want a small reward right now way more than a much bigger reward in the future. That whole buy now, pay later slogan, that's not just marketing. It's a carefully designed psychological trap built for the way our brains work.
Let me paint you a picture. Meet Sarah. She's scrolling on her phone, and bam, there it is, the designer handbag she's been dreaming of. It's 15,000 pounds. Now, the logical part of her brain is screaming, "No way, that's crazy." But then that little credit card devil on her shoulder whispers, "Hey, you can just pay it off in tiny little installments. No big deal." And that craving for instant gratification wins. She swipes the card.
And here's where the trap springs shut. This is brilliant. By the end of the year, after all the interest and fees, Sarah has actually paid closer to 20,000 pounds for that bag. And the kicker? The bag, which is now used, is only worth maybe 8,000 pounds if she tries to sell it. We call this the double loss. The value of her debt went up while the value of her thing went down. That is the brutal math of bad debt.
Or how about Ahmed? His dream is that new car smell, being the very first person to drive it off the lot. He takes out a big, high-interest loan. But that brand new car loses something like 20% of its value the moment he drives it home. Within 3 years, it could be worth half of what he paid. He's still making massive payments on a loan for a car that is plummeting in value. He is literally paying to lose money every single month.
Okay, enough of the doom and gloom. We've seen the villain, now it's time to meet the hero. Let's completely flip the script and talk about the weapon of good debt, the powerful tool the wealthy use to build fortunes.
So what's the big difference? It's simple. Good debt is when you borrow money to buy something that's going to make you more money. It's used to buy an asset that does one of two amazing things. It either goes up in value over time, that's appreciation, or it actively puts money back into your pocket every month. That's cash flow. The whole equation is turned completely upside down.
And the whole game is built on this one beautiful concept, OPM, other people's money. The idea is so simple, it's brilliant. You borrow money from, say, a bank at 10% interest, and you use that money to buy an asset that gives you a return of 20%. That 10% difference? That's pure profit you made using someone else's cash. This is the absolute core of building wealth with debt.
Now, I know a crucial question for many of us is, wait, is this even okay from an Islamic finance perspective? And the answer is a resounding yes. While traditional loans with fixed interest can be a problem, the core idea of using other people's money fits perfectly within structures built on risk sharing. Principles like partnership or musharaka, where everyone shares in the profits and the losses, or even leasing models, all let you leverage capital in a way that's both powerful and ethical.
All right, so that's the theory. But theory is one thing, right? How do the rich actually use this stuff in the real world? Let's move from just talking about it to seeing concrete strategies of how good debt is used to build fortunes.
The all-time classic,
the undisputed champion of building wealth, is real estate. Just imagine you want to buy an apartment worth £1 million. You don't actually need £1 million. You might only need a £200,000 down payment, and you borrow the rest from the bank. Now, get this. You've used just $200,000 of your own money to control a £1 million asset. That, right there, is the magic of financial leverage.
So how does this make you rich? Let's run the numbers. Let's say in 3 years, that property is now worth $1.5 million. Even after you've paid the bank, say, $180,000 in interest, your net profit is £320,000. Think about that. You made $320,000 on an investment of just $200,000. That's a mind-blowing 160% return on your money, all because you used the bank's money to do the heavy lift.
But hold on, it gets even better. This is the second win, the knockout punch. Let's say you rent that apartment out for £7,000 a month, but your mortgage payment is only $5,300. That means every single month, £1,700 of pure cash flow goes straight into your pocket. Let that sink in. Not only is your asset growing in value, but your tenant is literally paying off your debt and buying the asset for you. It's incredible.
And you know, an asset doesn't have to be a building you can touch. The single greatest asset you will ever own is you, your own skills and knowledge. Imagine borrowing £100,000 to get a master's degree in a high-demand field. If that degree helps you land a job that doubles your income for the rest of your life, you just use debt to generate a massive, lifelong return. That is good debt in its purest form.
And if you want to peek behind the curtain at how the ultra-wealthy play the game, there's a strategy they use called buy, borrow, die. It sounds dramatic, I know, but the logic is genius. First, they buy assets that grow in value, like stocks or a portfolio of properties. Then, if they need cash to live on, they don't sell those assets and get hit with a huge tax bill. No, they just borrow against their assets at super low interest rates. Finally, when they die, their heirs inherit the assets. The debt gets paid off from the estate, and the rest is passed on with minimal tax. It's a way to live off your wealth without ever selling the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Okay, we've met the villain, we've met the hero. Now for the most important part of all. How do you actually apply this to your own life? This is your practical, no-nonsense guide to turning debt from your worst enemy into your most powerful ally.
You need to screenshot this slide. Before you ever take on another pound of debt, run it through this simple 5-question test. 1. Am I buying a real asset or just stuff? 2. Is its value likely to go up or down? 3. Will it put money into my pocket? That's cash flow. 4. Is the return I expect to make higher than what the debt is costing me in interest? And number 5, the most important one. What's my worst-case scenario here, and do I have a backup plan? If you get good answers, you're looking at good debt. If not, you need to run in the other direction.
When you boil it all down, it comes to this. Debt is neutral. It's just a tool, like a knife. Now, in the hands of a great chef, a knife can be used to create an amazing meal that feeds a family. But in the wrong hands, that same knife can cause a lot of harm. The only difference is the knowledge, the skill, and the intention of the person holding it. Your job is to become the chef of your finances.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Take a hard, honest look at your own financial life. The balances you're carrying, the loans you have, are they the villain quietly chipping away at your future? Or are they the hero actively building it for you? The choice and the power is all in your hands.